Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour. India to reopen Kabul embassy, announces External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar after talks with his Afghanistan counterpart Maulvi Amir Khan Muttaqi in New Delhi. Palestinians displaced to southern Gaza begin their journey home as ceasefire comes into effect. But Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu warns that his troops will stay on until specific conditions are met. The Trump government proposes barring Chinese airlines from Russian airspace on flights to and from the US. And Venezuela's opposition leader Maria Corina Machado wins the Nobel Peace Prize. In a significant diplomatic meeting, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi discussed counter-terrorism, trade and development, marking a renewed commitment to bilateral relations and stability in the region. Minister Jaishankar reiterated India's long-standing friendship with the Afghan people and highlighted the deep-rooted cultural and historical ties binding the two nations. He conveyed India's continued commitment to support the aspirations and developmental needs of the Afghan people. DD India's Dheeraj Das reports.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held detailed discussions with the Afghan Foreign Minister Maulvi Amir Khan Muttaqi in New Delhi on Friday, marking the first high-level engagement between the two sides since 2021. Both sides discussed a wide range of issues of mutual interest, as well as important regional developments. In his opening remarks at the meeting, Dr. Jaishankar announced the upgrading of its technical mission in Kabul to the status of an embassy and pledged to renew its development works in Afghanistan.
India is fully committed to the sovereignty, territorial integrity and independence of Afghanistan. Closer cooperation between us contributes to your national development as well as regional stability and resilience. To enhance that, I am pleased to announce today the upgrading of India's technical mission in Kabul to the status of Embassy of India.
Dr. Jaishankar also conveyed India's continued commitment to support the aspirations and developmental needs of the Afghan people.
We have a shared interest in boosting trade and commerce. I'm glad to note the commencement of additional flights between Kabul and New Delhi. Our educational and capacity building programs have long nurtured the Afghan youth. We will expand avenues for Afghan students to pursue studies at Indian universities. Sports is another long-standing connection. The emergence of Afghan cricket talent has been truly impressive. India is glad to deepen its support for Afghan cricket.
On his part, Afghan Foreign Minister Maulvi Amir Khan Muttaqi reiterated the commitment that the Afghan government will not allow any group or individual to use the territory of Afghanistan against India.
This visit will increase or strengthen the understanding between both countries and open a new chapter between these relations. We hope that Afghanistan and India, on an official level and in different areas, increase their engagements and exchanges. We hope that through talks and dialogue we can increase the level of understanding between us. We always sought good relations with India. We will not allow any group to threaten anyone else or use the territory of Afghanistan against others.
The Afghan Foreign Minister appreciated India's role as the first responder to the disaster and its delivery of relief materials.
The recent earthquake in Kunar, India was the first country to respond in humanitarian assistance. We would like to show appreciation. Afghanistan looks at India as a close friend. Afghanistan wants relations based on mutual respect and trade and people-to-people, political trade and people-to-people relations. The Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan stands ready to create a mechanism of understanding between two countries, and these consultative mechanisms work towards strengthening our relations.
Dr. S. Jaishankar expressed his deep appreciation to Afghanistan for its strong condemnation of the terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir. Both sides unequivocally condemned all acts of terrorism emanating from regional countries. They underscored the importance of promoting peace, stability, and mutual trust in the region. Both sides emphasized respect for each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. As a special gesture, India will gift 20 ambulances to the Afghan people. A symbolic handover of 5 ambulances was done by the External Affairs Minister following his meeting with the Foreign Minister on Friday. Dheeraj Das's report for DD India.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed the maiden India-Australia Defence Industry Business Roundtable as part of his visit to Australia. The event plays an important role in enhancing India and Australia's business and industry ties in the defence sector. Among other things, the roundtable discussed ways to make sharing of technology easier. DD India's Rashika Gangwani reports.
India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Australia's Assistant Minister for Defence Peter Khalil jointly chaired the inaugural India-Australia Defence Industry Business Roundtable in Sydney on Friday, a landmark event attended by prominent industry leaders from both nations. In his address, Rajnath Singh reaffirmed the growing synergy between the two nations across strategic industrial and technological domains. He emphasized the roundtable transcends mere dialogue, serving as a declaration of intent to build a robust partnership, positioning India and Australia as natural allies in business, industry and innovation. The minister highlighted the pivotal role of Make in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative in driving this collaboration forward.
This round table can be a great catalyst to tap the unrealized potential in our defence industry collaboration. By invite the Australian business community to invest, collaborate and innovate with India. Together, we can develop cutting-edge technologies, build advanced platforms and ensure that our industries are not just suppliers but strategic enablers of peace and security in the region.
Reflecting on the remarkable progress in bilateral ties fueled by high-level engagements in recent years, India's Defence Minister outlined 3 critical pillars underpinning this relationship: forward-looking government-to-government collaboration, vibrant people-to-people connections, and a strong convergence of business interests.
Our governmental frameworks are robust and getting further strengthened. On the people's front, we have a big Indian diaspora here in Australia, which is complemented by a good Australian presence in India. And yet, our defence industrial partnership, based on joint research and development, innovation, co-creation and co-production, still has an untapped potential.
Rajnath Singh began the second day of his visit to Australia by touring the historic and strategic naval facility HMAS Kuttabul. Accompanied by Australia's Peter Khalil, the Defence Minister was briefed on the state-of-the-art facilities at Sydney Harbour. Engaging with Sydney's vibrant Indian diaspora, Singh commended the invaluable contributions in strengthening the cultural and economic bonds between India and Australia. He highlighted India's elevated global stature over the past 12 years, crediting the community's role in this transformation.
पिछले 12 वर्षों में इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी में भारत का कद ऊंचा हुआ है। भारत के प्रति पूरे विश्व में एक सम्मान का भाव बढ़ा है। इसे सहज रूप से सारे लोग स्वीकार करते हैं। उनमें फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग इकोनॉमी यदि कोई है मेजर इकोनॉमीज में, तो हमारी आज भारत है। यह हमारा एक मेजर अचीवमेंट है, मैं मानता हूं। मैं एक आंकड़े को देख रहा था कि रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के अनुसार 25-26 में भारत के रियल जीडीपी ग्रोथ अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 6.5% तक पहुंच गई है।
Embracing his spiritual and cultural values, Rajnath Singh visited the Babs Swami Narayan temple in Sydney, where he participated in traditional rituals symbolizing the deep cultural ties. The visit of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to Australia underscored the growing synergy between the two nations' maritime forces. Both leaders emphasized that India and Australia stand to gain significantly from deeper naval collaboration and enhanced cooperation in maritime domain awareness across the Indo-Pacific region. Bureau Report, DD India.
Artificial intelligence in telecom dominated day 3 of the discussions at the India Mobile Congress that's underway at Yashobhumi in New Delhi. Secretary of India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology S. Krishnan stressed the need to not fear AI but to move along with the AI wave. DD India's Tanvi Taneja reports.
From AI and robotics to XR, AR and 6G, the 9th edition of India Mobile Congress 2025 provided a glimpse into the future of advanced telecom technologies. Organized by Department of Telecommunications and the Cellular Operator Association of India, IMC has established itself as one of Asia's most prominent technology expos.
With the current supply chain issues, geopolitical issues, sustainability, self-reliance is an imperative. It's not an option, it's not a choice. So the government is highly committed. As I said earlier, Sindhya ji, me, we're all, even though this is a private industry event, the government has taken so much interest to ensure all the startups, people who are working are all being celebrated, and we're doing our level best to do that.
A range of Made in India and For India demos highlighted the power of digitalization to further growth. India's Centre for Development of Telematics showcased indigenous technology powering India's digital networks to future-ready breakthroughs shaping cybersecurity and quantum communication.
In today's scenario, right from your access network where your villagers and a poor mobile is connected through mobile, they are connected through Wi-Fi, public network, to see how to have all such technologies to protect them. Whether the technology is from any of the cellular operator or it is from any of this public Wi-Fi, C-Dot on top of that has this cyber security solution, C-Dot has the access network solution, C-Dot has a transport solution, C-Dot has a backhaul solution, C-Dot have a solution for cyber security of the cloud, of the enterprise, of the end user.
On the occasion, India-UK Connectivity and Innovation Centre was also launched as a joint initiative to translate ideas into action. With this centre, telecom companies of both countries will collaborate to shape the future of connectivity. The UK would invest £24 million over the next 4 years for the functioning of the CIC.
We have agreed jointly to invest £24 million over 4 years to bring together the world-leading researchers, innovators, and telecoms businesses, large and small, that operate in both of our countries. And we've talked about the 3 areas of focus that the centre will have, but I would say our goal, put very simply, is to work together to shape the future of connectivity.
A panel discussion on how to fuel CIC and to help telecom companies on both sides to grow in scale was also held. Individual pitches for Startup World Cup were also made. Also, the IMC 2025 awards were also distributed on the day 3 of the event. From voice to data, from 2G to 5G, India's telecom journey has been remarkable, but the AI-powered era promises to be its most exciting chapter so far. Tanvi Taneja's report for DD India.
And at the India Mobile Congress, DD India's Ankit Mishra spoke to a senior official of the National Centre for Communication Security, which comes under the Department of Telecom. Take a listen.
Now You can see here I'm standing in DOT pavilion right now, which is installed by Department of Telecom. We have a special guest with us who will more update about this, Babu Srinivas Kumarji, who is a DDG of Department NCCS.
Actually, we all know that telecom networks are very critical. That is why government also made it as one of the critical network infrastructure for the country. All digital services are running over the telecommunication networks. So to protect these networks, government has set up the National Center for Communication Sector, Communication Security. Here what we are doing is we frame standards, we do the testing and we certify the products, especially the telecom products that goes into the network. That way we are protecting the telecom network of the country.
Thank you so much for giving this more information about that. With the camera person Rahul Mishra for DD India.
Still to come on DD India NewsHour. France struggles with mounting economic challenges and ballooning debt amid political turmoil. The Trump government wants to ban Chinese airlines from flying over Russian airspace on US routes. And Venezuela urges a UN Security Council emergency meeting on mounting US threats.
Construction isn't just about steel and concrete. It can also be about restoring a hillside or creating homes that can protect both us and our planet.
This wattle and daub technique is called skin and bone of a structure. So here we have used bamboos cut into strips and weaved together as made as a panel. In that cap we fill it with mud and make it as a skin for it.
The trucks would just come by, dump the illegal waste and leave. Then we got some people to help and our Anand One urban forest team came into existence. Together we must have cleared about 30 to 40 tons of garbage out of this place.
One of the reasons for this structure that we have created here is to try and see if we can halt or reduce the rate of erosion. This is like a natural embankment for the forest land.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. There's a wave of cautious optimism across the Israel-Gaza region. After months of intense conflict, Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire, a move that's paving the way for a phased troop withdrawal and a significant exchange of prisoners and hostages.
The news of the ceasefire agreement with Hamas paving the way for a phased troop withdrawal and the exchange of Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners has brought in palpable excitement in Tel Aviv's Hostages Square. Crowds expressed cautious joy, balancing hope with mourning for those lost.
Today we feel the hope, and I think every house in Israel know the names of the hostages, know their stories, know their families, and we feel they are like our children.
In Gaza, displaced Palestinians also welcomed the ceasefire, calling it the happiest day of their lives. Many began heading back north, hoping for lasting peace and no further escalation.
Praise be to God. I am very happy to have returned to my land and my home, even though it's been bombed and destroyed. But still, I am coming back to my land to settle among my neighbors whom I know and love.
Earlier on Friday, Israel ratified the ceasefire agreement with Hamas, paving the way for a phased troop withdrawal and the exchange of Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners. Israel's Justice Ministry released a list of 250 Palestinian prisoners to be freed. However, it excluded several senior Hamas leaders whose release had been a key demand from the group. In a national address, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stressed that Israeli forces will remain in Gaza until certain conditions are met.
But the hardest challenge of all still remains to bring home all the remaining hostages, 20 living hostages and 28 who were taken and killed.
Israeli military spokesperson Brigadier General Efi Defrin said Hamas had been severely weakened.
Hamas has been defeated everywhere we fought them. The IDF is deployed deep inside Gaza.
US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff confirmed the start of Israel's partial withdrawal and the beginning of the hostage release phase, part of US President Donald Trump's broader 20-point peace plan to end the two-year conflict. The news of ceasefire also brought Iranians out of their homes who took to the streets of Tehran in support of Gaza. With bureau inputs, Shagnik Chakraborty for DD India.
France's President Emmanuel Macron held a key meeting with political leaders at the Élysée Palace ahead of a self-imposed deadline to name a new prime minister. Macron is looking for his sixth prime minister in under 2 years and will need to find a figure whose appeal spans the centre-right to centre-left in order to steer the budget for 2026. Party leaders from the left, right and centre arrived at the Élysée, but the far-right National Rally and the hard-left France Unbowed, which are the two largest political parties in the National Assembly, were excluded. Outgoing Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu abruptly resigned on Monday, just hours after unveiling his new cabinet. France has seen 5 prime ministers forced out in less than 2 years. Lecornu's departure, which ended his tenure after just 27 days, marks the shortest prime ministerial run in modern French history. The US government has proposed banning Chinese airlines from flying over Russian airspace on US routes, calling the current arrangement unfair to American carriers barred from Russian skies since 2022. The move follows Beijing's decision to tighten export controls on rare earths vital to US industry, further heightening the trade tensions between the two countries. US airlines argue that Chinese carriers gain a cost advantage by flying shorter routes over Russia, while US airlines must take longer, more expensive paths. The proposed ban would apply to passenger flights by Air China, China Eastern, China Southern and Xiamen Airlines, though cargo services would be exempt. Notably, shares of Chinese airlines dipped after the announcement as both countries brace for potential fallout ahead of a possible Trump-Xi meeting later this month. Beijing criticized the proposal, saying that it hurts people-to-people exchanges.
I suggest consulting the relevant Chinese authorities for specific inquiries. The United States imposing restrictions on Chinese airlines' operations is not conducive to fostering people-to-people exchanges between the two countries. We suggest that the US instead reflect on the impact of its own policies on its domestic enterprises, rather than unjustifiably suppressing other nations and making global consumers foot the bill.
The US also imposed sanctions on about 100 individuals, entities and vessels, including a Chinese independent refinery and terminal that helped Iran's oil and petrochemicals trade. The US believes that Iran's oil networks helped Tehran fund its nuclear and missile programs and support militant proxies throughout West Asia. But Iran denies it. It says its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. The US Treasury said that it was the 4th round of sanctions in which the US government targeted China-based refineries that continue to purchase Iranian oil. Venezuela has urged the United Nations Security Council to hold emergency talks over what it described as mounting threats from the US. Notably, the US has deployed warships and fighter jets to the Caribbean under the guise of anti-drug operations. The meeting, requested by Venezuela and backed by Russia and China, is expected to take place on Friday. Venezuela's foreign ministry called on the Security Council to curb any plans of aggression and warned that the US military actions represented a direct threat to regional sovereignty. The US says its forces are targeting drug cartels, with President Trump recently asserting legal authority for these strikes in a letter to the US Congress. 2 powerful earthquakes jolted southern Philippines on Friday, killing at least 7 people and causing landslides, power outages and triggering tsunami warnings. The first and the biggest quakes, with a magnitude of 7.4, hit about 20 kilometers off Manay town in the Mindanao region. Hours later, another 6.9 magnitude earthquake hit the same area. Philippine authorities issued tsunami warnings shortly after the morning quake, as well as for the early evening one. They also ordered evacuations along the eastern seaboard, though no big waves had been monitored. The Philippines, located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, which frequently experiences earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. A historic moment for Venezuela and the global fight for democracy. Maria Corina Machado, a longtime opposition leader and human rights advocate, has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay reports.
In a country gripped by political turmoil, Maria Corina Machado has stood as a beacon of hope. For over 2 decades, she has challenged authoritarian rule in Venezuela, calling for free elections, civil liberties, and democratic reform. Despite facing threats, disqualification from elections, and periods in hiding, Machado never backed down. Her peaceful resistance and tireless advocacy have now earned her the world's most prestigious peace honor.
The Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 goes to a brave and committed champion of peace, to a woman who keeps the flame of democracy burning amidst a growing darkness. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee praised Maria for her extraordinary civilian courage and her role in uniting Venezuela's opposition. They called her efforts a powerful example of peaceful resistance in the face of oppression.
Yes, Maria Corina. My name is Christian Bergard Piken. I am the secretary of the Norwegian Nobel Committee in Oslo. And I'm calling to inform you that in a few minutes it shall be announced here at the Nobel Institute that you will be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025.
Oh my God.
So warmest congratulations to you, Maria.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, I have no words. I thank you so much, but I hope you understand this is a movement. This is a achievement of a whole society. I am just one person. I certainly do not deserve this. Oh my God.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee is responsible for the selection of eligible candidates and the choice of the Nobel Peace Prize laureates. The committee is composed of 5 members appointed by the Storting, also known as the Norwegian Parliament. The prize is awarded in Oslo, in Norway, where the Nobel Prizes in physics, chemistry, psychology, or medicine, literature, and the prize in economic sciences are awarded. Born in 1967, Maria Corina Machado, an engineer, activist, and an opposition leader, has led Venezuela's fight for democracy, founded key civil groups, defied disqualification in the 2024 elections, backed Edmundo Gonzalez, and now, in hiding, stands as a global symbol of resistance. She was recently named the Times 100 Most Influential People of 2025. Maria's win is not just a personal triumph, it's a message to the world that the fight for democracy is alive and well. From Caracas to Oslo, her story continues to inspire. Bureau Report, DD India.
And still to come on DD India NewsHour. An expert take on the changing nature of India's ties with the Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. And India's iconic epic Mahabharata returns to Doordarshan from the 2nd of November.
Construction isn't just about steel and concrete. It can also be about restoring a hillside or creating homes that can protect both us and our planet.
This wattle and daub technique is called skin and bone of a structure. So here we have used bamboos cut into strips and weaved together made as a panel. In that cap we fill it with mud and make it as a skin for it.
The trucks would just come by, dump the illegal waste and leave. Then we got some people to help and our Anand 1 urban forest team came into existence. Together we must have cleared about 30 to 40 tons of garbage out of this place.
One of the reasons for this structure that we have created here is to try and see if we can halt or reduce the rate of erosion. This is like a natural embankment for the forest land.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. India to reopen Kabul embassy, announces External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar after talks with his Afghanistan counterpart Maulvi Amir Khan Muttaqi in New Delhi. Palestinians displaced to southern Gaza begin their journey home as ceasefire comes into effect. But Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu warns that his troops will stay on until specific conditions are met. The Trump government proposes barring Chinese airlines from Russian airspace on flights to and from the US. And Venezuela's opposition leader Maria Corina Machado wins the Nobel Peace Prize. All right, going back to the top story we are tracking here on DD India News Hour. India hosts Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Maulvi Amir Khan Muttaqi. New Delhi decides to reopen its embassy in Kabul, and India ramps up humanitarian assistance and infrastructure development in the Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. Joining us is Ambassador Dileep Sinha. He is a former Indian envoy to the United Nations in Geneva and Greece. He headed the Pakistan, Afghanistan and Iran division in the Ministry of External Affairs in the mid-2000s. He is the author, most recently, of Imperial Games in Tibet, the Struggle for Statehood and Sovereignty, published in 2024. His first book, Legitimacy of Power, The Permanence of Five in the Security Council, was published in 2018. Ambassador Sinha, welcome to DD India News Hour. Straight off the bat, Ambassador, is the Taliban no longer persona non grata in New Delhi?
Well, thank you for having me, Ramesh.
Welcome.
Yes, it is quite clear that the Taliban have completed a full circle, and now they are no longer persona non grata in Delhi. The differences that have developed recently between Taliban and Pakistan, and the pressure that the Taliban are facing in Afghanistan, from Pakistan, has brought Delhi closer to them. We had been helping Afghanistan with some humanitarian assistance in the past, even during Taliban 2. But the earlier difficult days of Taliban 1 are clearly behind us. The Taliban government now is looking to India for further assistance and for improving relations, and India is clearly willing to respond.
Ambassador Sinha, help our viewers understand something here. Why this change in India's attitude or approach towards the Taliban? What explains it, and why now?
Well, two sets of developments. One is the relations between Pakistan and the Taliban have been deteriorating rapidly ever since the Taliban came to power. Pakistan had hoped to treat Afghanistan as its colony and the Taliban as a kind of an assistant in Kabul, who would do their bidding, including promoting terrorism wherever they wanted. Now, Taliban obviously wanted to treat themselves as a sovereign country, and this was not to the liking of Pakistan. Besides, Pakistanis believed that the Afghan Taliban would not support the TTP, which is the Pakistani Taliban, who moved their base across to Afghanistan and started operating from Afghan territory and to promote the Taliban cause inside the NWFP, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province in Pakistan. Now, this led to a deterioration in relations between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Meanwhile, the Taliban have been sending messages to India saying that they want to improve relations, and they are willing to ensure that their territory is not used for terrorism against India. So all these factors brought two countries together, and here we are, where we are upgrading our mission, that's what's called a technical mission, into a full-fledged diplomatic mission with a chargé d'affaires in Kabul.
So let me ask you this. For all practical purposes, does New Delhi's decision to reopen its embassy in Kabul mean that the relationship is being normalized?
Well, the effort is certainly to normalize relations, although we have to be careful because Pakistan is still active inside Afghanistan, and it is possible that Pakistan will try and create trouble. As you would remember, in the earlier days of Ashraf Ghani and Karzai, the ISI was very active in Kabul, and there were attacks on the Indian embassy in Kabul conducted by the forces supported by the ISI. So those efforts are possible, and then Pakistan would try and put the blame on the Taliban. That is possible, so we have to be careful about this. And we also have to be careful about the internal policies of the Taliban, because although we do not interfere in the internal affairs of a country, that's their internal matter, but many of the human rights issues, concerns that are raised globally in Afghanistan are concerns that we also have. And we would like to the regime to start honoring the universal beliefs in human rights, especially the rights of women.
Let me also try to understand something else from you, Ambassador Sinha. Does the reopening of India's embassy in Kabul necessarily mean that India will formally recognize the Taliban government? Are the two interrelated?
Well, it has formally recognized. The fact is that when Muttaqi came today, he has been welcomed as the foreign minister of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, which is the formal name that the Taliban give to their government. So it is a formal recognition. It's just that there will be no ambassadors exchanged right now. I suppose in due course, the ambassadors.
Ambassador, if I may just come in there, I mean, why I'm asking you this is because as things stand today, at least 19 countries, including India, have reopened their embassies in Kabul, but only one country out of that lot, Russia, has formally recognized Taliban. So does having an embassy there necessarily mean recognizing the government there?
An embassy means recognizing the government. In any case, we follow the policy of recognizing the country as a sovereign country, and then relations thereafter are with the government concerned. Now, what had happened was that because of our relations with the Taliban not being good, we had downgraded our relationship to a level where we only had a technical mission, which was a kind of an embassy located in the same building, but it was not called an embassy. Now it will be called an embassy. It will be a mission, a diplomatic mission, which will be headed by a chargé d'affaires. And then in due course, whenever the situation and the relations get upgraded to a point where we feel that a senior person in the rank of ambassador can go there, will be sent.
Let me ask you another related question here, Ambassador Sinha. Given the history of bad blood between India and the Taliban, do you think the Taliban can and perhaps should do more to reassure New Delhi that it will not turn into a safe haven or sanctuary for terrorists that seek to harm India?
Well, yes, the Taliban will have to stand by their word. But I think the assessment in Delhi is that most of the terrorism that was emanating from Afghanistan earlier was essentially created by the ISI. And the Taliban were involved, but they were kind of unwilling partners in this. And we feel that now that the Taliban are fully in control of at least Kabul and the region around Kabul, and they claim that they are in control of all of Afghanistan, which would be good, because that would mean that now if any terrorism emanates from Afghanistan, they can hold the government of the Taliban responsible for it and ask them to take action against those elements.
And finally, before we close, Ambassador, does India have a view on the backsliding of women's rights in Afghanistan, lack of democratic freedoms, or would New Delhi be treating it as something internal or domestic to Afghanistan?
Our approach to human rights is that human rights is an internal affair of a country, and we do not interfere in the internal affairs of another country, but we do expect countries to honor their commitments, because as members, as signatories to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as signatories to other international treaties dealing with human rights, it is the incumbent duty of every government to honor their commitments to human rights. So we expect the government of Afghanistan, whichever government it is, or any other government, to honor human rights. And India is always willing to help countries get the necessary training or encouragement to promote human rights. But interference or criticizing our country openly is not part of our policy.
Ambassador, thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts with our viewers in India and around the world. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. In other news, the Communist Party of Nepal has postponed its Central Committee meeting. It will now be conducted from the 15th to the 17th of October in Kathmandu. This was decided during the party's 58th Secretariat-level meeting on Friday. The meeting will review contemporary political developments and finalize the agenda. Meanwhile, the UML chair and former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli rejected the dissolution of the House of Representatives and called for the reinstatement of the now dissolved House. The Nepali Congress's Central Committee meeting was held in Kathmandu on Friday too. The discussions focused on holding the party's 15th General Convention in December under special circumstances. The meeting, chaired by the party's Vice President Purna Bahadur Khadka, was the first since the Gen Z protests. Party members also called for restructuring the party to align with the spirit of the movement. All right, now take a look at what else is making news here in India. India's iconic epic Mahabharata returns in a groundbreaking AI-led series premiering 25th October on Waves OTT and airing every Sunday 11 a.m. on Doordarshan from the 2nd of November. The show blends tradition with cutting-edge technology to recreate characters, battles and emotions with stunning realism. This first-of-its-kind collaboration celebrates Make in India and Digital India, offering immersive experience for viewers across generations and geographies. In Gujarat, Hindustan RMC has helped build the world's largest concrete base for a temple at Vishwa Umiya Dham. Over 24,000 cubic meters of eco-friendly concrete was poured non-stop in just 54 hours, setting a world record. The project used advanced cooling technology and was executed by more than 100 engineers and top construction partners. Once completed, it will be the tallest temple in Asia and one of the tallest in the world at 144 meters. In one of the biggest crackdowns of recent time, the Enforcement Directorate arrested Maqbool Doctor, Kashif Doctor, Mahesh Desai and Om Pandya for laundering more than 100 crore rupees involving fake legal notices and forex scams. The accused used bogus bank accounts, pre-activated SIM cards and converted funds to USDT via Hawala operators. USDT or Tether is a blockchain-based stable coin pegged to the US dollar. A special court granted the agency 5-day custody of the accused. The India Meteorological Department has predicted heavy rainfall today across several northeastern states including Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. Similar weather conditions are expected to persist in parts of southern and coastal India, with Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry likely to experience intense showers. The weather agency has also warned of thunderstorms accompanied by lightning over West Bengal, Lakshadweep and Telangana for the next 2 days. Moreover, rainfall activity is expected to continue over Karnataka, Kerala, Mahi, Odisha, Tamil Nadu and the northeastern region for the next 2 or 3 days, according to the IMD. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. In cricket, India finishes day 1 in a strong position against the West Indies in the New Delhi Test match. And 9-time Olympic legend Carl Lewis lights up a pre-event of the 20th edition of the Delhi Half Marathon.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. 10th October is observed as World Mental Health Day to encourage global mental health education, awareness and advocacy against social stigma. Despite increased awareness, many still shy away from seeking help because of fear of judgment or stigma. DD India's Preeti Kaur reports on how mental health is integral to an individual's overall health.
Mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables people to think, feel and behave. It is an integral component of health and well-being that underpins our individual and collective abilities to make decisions, build relationships and shape the world we live in. Mental health is more than the absence of mental disorders. Mental illness, something that people have faced in some point of their lives knowingly or unknowingly, accounts for more than 12% of global disorders. It can affect a person in countless ways. The symptoms are diverse and the experience is deeply personal. Some of the conditions include anxiety disorders, depression, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, schizophrenia, eating disorders, disruptive behavior and dissocial disorders, neurodevelopmental disorders. While some may experience persistent feelings of sadness or anxiety, others might struggle with mood swings, lack of focus, or even physical symptoms like fatigue or restlessness. It can affect anyone, regardless of background, age, or status. World Mental Health Day, observed every year on 10th of October, serves as a powerful reminder that there is no health without mental health. The theme this year, Mental Health in Humanitarian Emergencies, focuses on the urgent need to support the mental health and psychosocial needs of people affected by humanitarian emergencies. Crises such as natural disasters, conflicts, and public health emergencies cause emotional distress, with 1 in 5 individuals experiencing a mental health condition. However, there is hope. Staying mentally and emotionally healthy is the key to not just surviving, but thriving. The path to healing starts with a conversation. If you or someone you know is struggling, don't hesitate to talk about it. Seek support, share your feelings, and when necessary, consult a mental health professional. In a world where we take care of everything, our homes, our jobs, our bodies, it is time we care just as much for our minds as well. After all, a healthy mind is the heartbeat of a healthy life. Preeti Kaur, DD India.
And 10th October this year marks the 119th birth anniversary of celebrated Indian author RK Narayan. The television adaptation of his work Malgudi Days became a household name in India.
October 10 marks the birth anniversary of RK Narayan. Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayanaswamy, commonly known as RK Narayan, was one of the greatest writers of English literature. This Indian writer was globally known for his fictional writings. Born in 1906 in a family of Tamil Brahmins, RK Narayan was the second eldest son in a family of 8 children. His rich tapestry of fictional, non-fictional and mythological works resonates with readers around the globe. He started teaching in a school but soon decided to quit his job to pursue a full-time career in writing. Throughout his lifetime, Narayan authored 34 novels, beginning with Swami and Friends, a captivating tale that follows the adventures of a group of schoolchildren. His narratives are set in a fictional village of Malgudi in South India, a vibrant backdrop that later inspired the beloved television series Malgudi Days, which aired on DD National. This show became a cherished favorite, resonating with audiences and leaving a lasting impression that many still recall fondly today. He was also nominated as a member of the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of Indian Parliament, in 1980 for his extraordinary contributions to literature. His legendary writing career came to an end with his final book, Grandmother's Tale in 1992. RK Narayan masterfully captured the contradictions and ironies of Indian rural and urban life in his works, vividly illustrating the tensions between modern urbanity and age-old traditions. His unwavering dedication to writing defined his life, and he continued to craft his narratives with remarkable skill and insight until his final days. RK Narayan's legacy in Indian English literature is immensely impactful, shaping the trajectory of Indian writing in English and inspiring countless generations of authors. Bureau Report, DD India.
Legendary 9-time Olympic gold medalist Carl Lewis lighted up the pre-event of the 20th edition of the Vedanta Delhi Half Marathon in New Delhi on Friday. Lewis, who is the international event ambassador for the event, shared his excitement of the upcoming World Athletics Gold Label road race, while also motivating participants with words that capture the transformative power of sport. During a press conference, Lewis said he is looking forward to the event, while also stating that Usain Bolt's world records will remain safe for a long time, calling his 100-meter world record unbreakable.
No, I'm excited about it. It's interesting. I've been to this event before, and to be back here to see the change and the social, whether it's women, the cultural, the environmental changes are just incredible, and I think it's just a wonderful event for India, really for anywhere in the world. I'm excited to be back. Well, I don't think it's going to be anyone's going to break it anytime soon. No, I don't. I just don't. I don't think right now.
200-meter what?
There's probably a better shot at that. I definitely think it's a better shot at that, but I think the hundreds is away for a while.
The US legend also took a moment to reflect on the legacy of fellow sporting greats Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt, highlighting how the two icons continue to inspire generations worldwide long after their competitive careers ended.
Well, whether it's Michael or Usain or any athlete, it's what you leave. And I think we are all challenged with the opportunity to leave something more than ourselves. Your career is just a conduit to make a difference in other areas. So how do you use that incredible career? I was so fortunate to have incredible parents and great family, the best coach of the 20th century. Talent was there, grit and desire. But at the end, what did I use? Take all of that and use it for others. And so we're all judged. I know Michael has his foundation, and so doing because he's dealt with issues. So I think we're ultimately all going to be judged based on what we did after our sport or beyond our sport, because that's the hardest part of our life.
To cricket now, India finished at 318 for 2 at the end of day 1 of the second test match against the West Indies at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi. Opener Yashasvi Jaiswal smashed his 7th test century in style as he remained unbeaten on 173. The other young left-hander at the crease, Sai Sudarshan, also smashed a half-century as West Indies attack failed to break through the defences of Indian batters. The only highlight of the day for West Indies came in the first session when KL Rahul fell short of his 50 after being deceived by Jomel Warrican's spin. India leads the two-match series 1-0 and will be eyeing a clean sweep against an out-of-form West Indies side. High-stakes FIFA World Cup 2026 qualifiers are set to take place on Friday night. Belgium hosts North Macedonia with the opportunity to leapfrog their visitors and take top spot in their qualifying group. Belgium secured a 1-0 draw in the reverse fixture in Skopje to kick off the qualifying campaign in June. Belgium sits second in the standings on 10 points from 4 games, one behind North Macedonia, who have played 5 matches. Meanwhile, Germany's national team is gearing for their fixture against Luxembourg. The Germans host Luxembourg before travelling to Belfast to face Northern Ireland 3 days later. Both teams are at the bottom of their qualifying group, with Germany placed at 3rd spot with 3 points and Luxembourg at 4th and last spot with 0 points. Aryna Sabalenka extended her unbeaten run at the Wuhan Open to 20 matches with a victory over Elena Rybakina on Friday. Sabalenka beat Rybakina 6-3, 6-3 to keep her quest for a 4th straight title alive. Up next for the big-hitting Belarusian is Jessica Pegula of the US, who beat Katerina Siniakova of the Czech Republic for her 50th match win of the season. Sabalenka has won 8 of her 10 meetings with Pegula, including in the US Open final last year. And that's all for this edition of DD India NewsHour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You may wish to scan the QR code that is now on the screen to download it. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. All of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India NewsHour.